Global War 36 enthusiast here with Operation No Time to Die, turn 5.4, the Commonwealth. It is July 1938. I'd like to start with some comments on Boston Bruce's 5.3 turn. He's really off to a tremendous start. It's a frustration to me that he rolled a 5 for peacetime income increase for USA. That luck going his way is equivalent to a roll of 21 for Madman Dan's way. And the USA is already struggling as far as technology. If Great Britain succeeds with its wartime economy roll this turn, then every nation will be at stage 2 for that tech except for the United States. If I had at the start of this, I had USA at 11 IPP, so the extra 5 from the peacetime increase would only put them up to 16, not 17, by my report. But it could, so it's even worse than I thought, but hopefully I'm wrong. Regarding optional rules, we aren't using 10.2 reinforcement of captured bases, so the 2 tactical bombers and 2 fighters will remain in Kwangtung. On the attack in Sumatra, Boston Bruce unloaded... Oh no, it was on Borneo, I'm sorry. On the attack in Borneo, on the first round, Boston Bruce rolled 2 at 2. He lowered, because it was jungle, he lowered his light armor down to a 2, and his Marines are attacking at a 2. But remember that on the first round of an amphibious assault, only the infantry can attack. And if that militia had hit on that very first round, could have shut down the whole attack. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. The 2 at 2 both missed. That was the roll that Boston Bruce commented. It would have been great for Madman Dan's peacetime income increase roll. So it doesn't matter. It's just a learning point. Finally, Boston Bruce asked me to tack on 2 additional non-combat moves to his turn. He'd like to have 1 infantry from Hopei move down to Shantung, and he'd like to have 1 infantry from Suyuan rail down to Hunan. He just added on those 2 moves to his turn. That's no problem. We all forget things. I made a lot of little mistakes, so I have no problem with that. Okay, let's get on to turn 5.4. So we're going to have 2 tech rolls. This time it'll be for radar and wartime economy, but I'm going to put that off till later in the turn because I'm going to also include a recruitment roll for the Dutch. I'll get a recruitment roll at 2, 1 for the Netherlands and 1 for Java. I'm wondering though, are there other... I think there are other, or maybe I don't get to do colonies. Now that I think about it, I think it's just a recruitment roll at 1. I don't think you get to count colonies. But if I did, then there's like this Suriname one. Anyway, I'll roll the recruitment roll later, and then we'll figure out if I did get some Dutch units. Okay, British purchases. Let's swivel the camera around so we can see what the purchases are like for the turn. So the British are going to purchase 1 anti-aircraft artillery for 4, 3 infantry for 9, and a militia for 2. They'll save 1 IPP. That's 15, and they had 16. The FEC purchased 1 Gurkha for 4 and 1 infantry for 3. They're spending all 7 of their IPP. Anzac starts off with 9. They'll buy 1 infantry and save 6. Okay. So, now I'm wondering, maybe I want to purchase a little bit more for the Anzac on the fly here, given all these troops that he's got. Yeah, I'm going to purchase, I think I could purchase 2 more militia, no problem there in Sydney. So I'm going to buy 2 more militia, and I'll only save 2 with Anzac. Get 2 more militia. These 2 chips will just represent militia because I'll tuck them there in Sydney. Okay. Combat movement. The Commonwealth has no combat movement. Non-combat movement. Okay. Let's swivel over here. And, oh, I'm sorry, combat movement. I do have combat movement with the Dutch, right? So they can do convoy raid on the Japanese. Let's see, I've got a sub, is that the one with the sub base? Yeah, I have a sub base here, so I think I can go 4. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 right here and do convoy raiding there. I guess I'll go 1 over here and do convoy raiding there with my coastal sub. So I've got 2 convoy raids to resolve before I go on to non-combat movement. I would need to swivel the camera around, don't we? Maybe zoom in a little bit for you. Okay. So let's do the regular submarine. I get a +2. Red is the attacker. I'll always be red as the attacker. Okay, so 6 minus 1 is 5, and I think that's gonna exceed the, that's the maximum that we could do. Don't even need to roll, but what the heck, just to be on the safe side in case there's some error that I'm making, I'll do the coastal sub attacking the Dutch coastal sub. And it does 1 more point of damage if, I know that's not possible, but I think Japan loses 5 IPP. So I have Japan at 36, so that knocks them down to Japan is at 31 right now. Okay, now let's do non-combat movement. First we'll back this up so we'll get a little bit more of the board. And I'll have this sub here in C zone 122. We'll go 1, 2 down to C zone. Yeah, I'm going to go down to C zone 142 with this British coastal sub. I'm going to have 3 British infantry, 1 Anzac infantry, and 1 artillery will all move into Calcutta. So Calcutta has 6 British infantry, 1 Anzac infantry, 1 Anzac artillery, 1 motorized Anzac infantry, and 2 militia. I will have in the big armada here, I will have all of these ships move here to 82. These 3 British transports are not part of the armada, but every other Commonwealth ship is going to move 2 spaces over to C zone 82. 1 infantry will move from Western Egypt to Eastern Egypt. 1 Anzac naval transport. Let's zoom this over here a little bit. Okay, this Anzac naval transport will pick up 2 infantry from Gibraltar and go 1, 2, 3, join the armada. And we'll drop off 2 more infantry in Eastern Egypt. One Dutch coastal defense ship. I think that's on camera. Yep. 1 Dutch destroyer and 1 Dutch torpedo boat destroyer will all move here to C zone 24. 1 tactical bomber will take off from London and land on the light carrier in C-Zone 24. Three infantry will move from London to the British Midlands. Strategic rail movement, none. Strategic naval movement, I will have 3 transports from C-Zone 85. I think they're on screen here. These guys will go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to C-Zone 79. Okay. Controlled minor recruitment roll, plus those 2 tech rolls. I've set up PBE to do my rolls. Let's see what they generate for radar, wartime economy, and then the Dutch recruitment roll. Okay, so for radar, I succeeded. For wartime economy, I failed. So that puts me up to 1 on radar, stayed the same at wartime economy. And then my recruitment roll was an 8, so it doesn't matter with it. I definitely did not recruit with the Dutch. But let me move up radar 1. Okay. Placement of units. 1 militia is for the British is going to go into eastern Egypt. So now I have 3, 4, 5 infantry in eastern Egypt and 3 militia in eastern Egypt. Okay. Then I will place 3 infantry in London and 1 AA gun in London. FEC, 1 Gurkha is going to go into Burma. So Burma's going to have a Gurkha and a militia, and another infantry will go into Calcutta. So I think that brings Calcutta up to 7 infantry, 7 British infantry, 1 Anzac infantry. Okay, and then Anzac purchases, I will place the 1 infantry and 2 militia into Sydney. And that will bring Sydney up to 3 infantry and then 6 militia. Okay. Great Britain collects 18. They had saved 1. So Great Britain ends the turn with 19. FEC collects 9 IPP. They didn't save any, so that's what they have. And then Anzac collects 7, and they had saved 2, so they end the turn with 9. Okay, let's begin turn 5.5, France's turn. They have 1 tech roll. They're going to roll for advanced mechanized, but I'm going to do a recruitment roll at the end of the turn for Abyssinia, so we're going to hold on that. I'm going to lend lease, I guess I should rotate around for my purchases. I'm going to lend lease 1 fighter to Abyssinia. And then my combat movement, I'm going to make an attack on down here on Italian Somaliland. I'm going to invade with everything. I'm going to bring in 4 infantry, 1 cavalry, and 2 fighters. So it's in desert. Why don't we do that attack? Let me get the camera centered a little bit more here on this battle. Okay, I think think that's going to stay on point. Okay, so I have 4 infantry attacking at 1, -1 in the desert, 1 cavalry attacking at 2, and if I roll a 12 with this red die for the cavalry, he retreats. That's the effect of the desert on vehicles. And then 2 aircraft at 6, and this is an air superiority round, the first round, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so I hit so many times. I hit once with my infantry, I hit once with my cavalry, I hit twice with my aircraft. Now it's the rebuttal round, and they get 1 aircraft at 6, 1 fighter at 6, 1 infantry at 4, and 1 cavalry at 2. Okay, so they hit twice, and one of them is an aircraft. So Abyssinia loses a fighter and an infantry. And basically it was kind of like an even exchange, except for just 1 more cavalry lost by Italy. Italian Somaliland is captured by the Abyssinians. The fighter lands back in Abyssinia. And then that will make Italy go down 1. So Italy will drop to 9. Okay. And that's the end of combat. Now we're going to zoom out again because we're going to end up going to do some non-combat movement. So the first non-combat movement will be moving this armada from Sea Zone 85 to Sea Zone 82 with the rest of the Commonwealth ships. 4 infantry here in Alsace-Lorraine. Let's zoom in a little bit on what's going to be happening in France. Okay, so 4 infantry are going to move from Alsace-Lorraine into Paris. And 1 motorized infantry is going to move from Alsace-Lorraine into Aquitaine. And then from Paris, 2 infantry are going to move from Paris into Aquitaine. That will leave 8 infantry in Paris. 1 foreign legion, 1 artillery, 1 medium bomber will all go into Aquitaine. So, and then 1 militia and 1 fighter will go into southern France. So just to review, there's 8 infantry in Paris. In Aquitaine, there are 2 infantry, 1 foreign legion, 1 motorized infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 medium bomber. In southern France, there is 1 militia and 1 fighter. That is it as far as movement. So we just do our tech roll and our Abyssinian recruitment roll, which is now at a 2. Okay, I rolled a 9, succeeding with the advanced artillery or advanced mechanized for France, but I failed at the recruitment rolling an 11. So I wish, it's so frustrating that France is rolling great as far as tech, and the United States and Britain just cannot get the most important tech in the game, wartime economy. We have rolled 9 times for wartime economy, the 2 of us, and had 1 success. France collects 11. The fighter that was Lend-Leased leaves southern France and arrives in French Somaliland, and then is railed over to Abyssinia. So Abyssinia itself has 2 militia and 2 fighters. Okay, Global War 36. Enthusiast, now turn this over to Panzer J and 5.6 Italy.